open enrollment is funded is that the district of residence, the student's resident district, counts that student in membership as if that student were still attending school in the district. And then what happens is that the department calculates a uniform transfer amount that applies to every student in the state who transfers in and out of the school district, a school district under open enrollment. And then for each regular education student who transfers into or out of your district, we adjust your final state aid payment. For a transfer in, we increase your final state aid payment by that per student amount. For a transfer out, we decrease your final state aid payment by that per pupil amount. The way
So, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So, if I understood you correctly, if our cost of general instruction is, make up a number, you know, $9,500,
Right.
and the general aid adjustment or the open enrollment adjustment is about $6,800, you transfer $6,800.
Right.
Okay. And if our cost was lower than $6,800, you would still transfer $6,800.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
I think this table shows that.
Oh, okay, great.
And it does, yes.
It does, yes. I want to point out, although I won't talk much more about it at this time, that for special education students, there is no aid adjustment made. Instead, the resident district still counts that student, but instead of the DPI making an aid adjustment, the non-resident district bills the resident school district directly for that cost. Most special ed students are only going to generate that basic open enrollment amount because you can bill only for any additional costs that you incur. But still, under state law, the DPI does not make the aid transfers. One district needs to bill the other, even if it's for that basic amount.
So if, for example, if we have an aid that's an aid for 4 special ed students, and through open enrollment, another special ed student enters the district, and we have to hire another aide for that student, are we allowed to bill for that cost?
Only if that aid serves only that student. Once you average a cost or prorate a cost, you can't bill, you can't charge it.
Okay.
So, for example, if that student caused, if you had a per pupil desire and that student triggered the point at which you had to add more staff, but that staff is still going to serve all students in the program, you can't charge for that, even if that student triggered the additional amount. If you can turn down the student if you don't have space, but if you take the student, then you can't charge specifically or anything that isn't a charge specific to that student.
Even if you can determine that, for example, that aide always spends mornings with the particular student and never spends afternoons with the particular student, I'm just making this up.
Well, again, if it's, some districts are starting to determine this in increments to try to be able to charge it. It has to be, the real question that has to be answered is, if this student were not here, would this charge